The following is a production of Jenks FM. Thank you for your support. You're listening to Football Unscripted with Jenks.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Football Unscripted with me, Jenks. It's good to have you with us. Auckland FC, top of the table, took on 10th place Central Coast Mariners at Mount Smart Stadium on Sunday. Auckland FC had drawn their previous 2 matches and Central Coast had lost their previous 3, both teams looking to turn fortunes around. Auckland FC, the much fancied team, have been going very well until a little bit of a stumble where they've drawn the last couple of games. Central Coast Mariners having an underwhelming season, trying to balance domestic football with the Asian Champions League. The game kicked off and Auckland FC were wanting to prove some dominance, but it just wasn't happening. It looked a little bit flat, Auckland looked a little bit tired and out of ideas. But on 10 minutes, Jesse Randall put in an assist for Guillermo Mai, who scored a header to put Auckland FC 1-0 up. After that, Central Coast came a bit more into the game and looked more dominant, looking much better than their 10th position on the league. Auckland FC looked a little bit out of ideas. A lot of balls were not getting played through correctly. They were losing possession and so many stray balls were being played into the box, not finding an Auckland FC player. Central Coast Mariners looked like the more danger team. 1-0 at half-time, and Auckland were lucky to still be 1-0 up. The second half started, and a couple of substitutions by Auckland didn't swing the game their way. Instead, it went the other way, where Central Coast Mariners got an equaliser. That put the score at 1-1, and from there on, it looked like Auckland were just not finding any answers at all. Central Coast Mariners were looking the better team. A lot of defensive errors. It was a huge defensive error that led to the Central Coast Mariners goal, and it seemed to affect the players a little bit. Later on, Callan Elliott did come on for Jake Brimmer, and only 5 minutes later, he found the back of the net. Hiroki Sakai headed the ball back into play, which was almost going out for a goal kick, and Elliott caught onto it with a beauty of a left foot, which smashed into the net, leaving the keeper absolutely no chance. That was around about 80 minutes. The crowd was going crazy, flags were waving, scarves were up in the air, and we were really, really encouraging the team to get that first win after 3 matches. But 90 minutes on the clock, and another mishap in defence saw Central Coast Mariners find the back of the net. Central Coast Mariners brought the game to 2-2 right on 90 minutes, and we've seen so many times Auckland FC usually have the rub of the green when it comes to late goals. This time, just like the previous match, we were on the other end of that. Central Coast Mariners, they celebrated like they'd won the match, and Auckland FC felt like they'd lost the match. 5 minutes of added on time was not enough for Auckland FC to get back into the game. There was a half chance, but the whistle soon blew after that when nothing happened. The players, Dan Hall played really good. I felt he was very solid. He was first to the ball. He was playing against his former club as well, by the way. He had, I think, 7 years at Central Coast Mariners. Sakai, he always shows his brilliance. Might have been caught out a couple of times. De Vries, he has been my player of the season, but I feel he had one of his worst games It was an error which led to the first goal, and he never really recovered from that mentally. He was playing some very wayward passes where usually he would find an Auckland player. He was hitting it out for throw-ins. He was not getting the pass through the players. They were intercepting it too easily. So I think De Vries' head did drop because of the error leading to the first goal for Central Coast Mariners, and it affected his game for the rest. Paulson, I think he may have been a little bit at fault for the second goal for Mariners. He came off his line, keeping the goal, making the goal exposed for Mariners to get back into the game. Up front, we didn't have the dominance. We didn't have that little bit of X factor to finish off our opportunities. Galagos, he was good in the middle of the park, often goes unnoticed, and it just felt flat. It felt like Auckland FC were tired. It felt like we didn't have answers, and Central Coast were just up for it. You could see they had a higher tempo, and it felt like they wanted it more. But regardless of the result of the match, Central Coast's season is pretty much over. They're too far away from the playoff places. Something would have to go drastically wrong for the other teams for them to get back into it. Auckland FC's lead at the top has been shortened to 4 points. We still have a game in hand over Western United, but we also are due to play Western United away. I think it's the last game of the season, which could be a very, very key game to how the top two finish. Auckland FC will look now to hit the reset button, and the international break has come at good timing, where Auckland FC can go away, hit that reset, and then come back in an away game to Brisbane at the end of the month. Only two more home games for Auckland. They've got Western Sydney Wanderers at home just after the Brisbane game, and then a few more away games, some really tough games back to back away to Sydney and Melbourne Victory. Will be some very tough tests for Auckland on the road. If they can get 4 points from those two games, I'll be very happy. The Port were great again this weekend. I saw an increase in flags, which was amazing. It looked so good, held high and aloft. There was a little bit of disgruntlement in the crowd. There was one person in particular who was not happy to have so many flags in front of him. He did choose to sit at the back of the Port, knowing that the Port is a standing area full of active support, which involves flag flying. So hopefully next time he can find a better place to enjoy the match if he doesn't want to get amongst the flag flying. But the flags look great, and I'm all for that. I had a few flags of my own, and I wasn't quite in the heart of 22 where the core supporters are. I was just next to them in 23, but I was on the back row waving my flags. And I know in 23 a lot more people are sitting down for the match or not as actively involved, so that's why I sit at the back of 23. But if I was in 22, I'd definitely be right amongst it in the middle waving my flags. So it's a shame that there's a little bit of divide there within the supporters in terms of that. I think some supporters just need to look at football as a whole on the world game to see the scenes of an active support area. You look at the fans of Bayern Munich, and I know we're not in Germany, I know this is New Zealand and it's the A-League, but you look at like Bayern Munich and the fans behind the goal, they're waving flags for 90 minutes and they're right at the front of the stand. They're massive flags, like way bigger flags than what we have at Mount Smart. This is a unique atmosphere, and to have those flags waving in the heart of the Port is our heartbeat. for the team. We are encouraging the players. Yes, it will obstruct people's view, but that's what you get in an active supporters section. 22 is the real core of the port. The port is 21, 22, 23. You will get a much better view of the field if you want to watch the game only in 21 and 23. But 22, it comes with the flags, and the flags were amazing. I'm all for that, and I think the majority of fans are too. If you're choosing to sit behind the flags and then complain about it, please next time reconsider your options and sit in a better place where you can enjoy the game. If you want to go to a game and just watch the game, not be part of the fans and see every little bit of game, you're not really going to choose behind the goal, because it's very difficult to see the other end of the field, especially when it's some very close goalmouth action. It's hard to read the game sometimes if you're sat behind the goal. Behind the goal is all about the atmosphere, and it's about the crowd connection, and it's about creating noise, creating a visual, and creating something special. If I wanted to just watch the game and not bother with flags and chanting and singing, I'd definitely sit on one of the sideline stands, the east or the west, and as close to the halfway line as possible. I've done that in the past with other games that I've been to, and yet I can watch the game similar as I could watch it on the TV, and get a much better view and perspective of the whole game. But you lose connection with the crowd when you're like that. So live sport is live sport for a reason, because there's noise, there's feeling, there's visual, there's so much going on. Next time, I hope to see the same flags going up again and waving. Even more flags and bigger flags would be great. I know there's people's concerns on social media about dangers and fire risks and everything like that, but all these flags have been approved by Auckland stadiums. They all go through a process of being assessed based on their size, the material, the flagpole type, the length of flagpole, the content on the flag as well. So these have all been considered. These are not people smuggling in flags where they shouldn't be. They've done the right thing by getting the approval letters, which is what I've done. I've got 6 flags, 6 approval letters, and every week I'm waving 5 of those flags, and one of them I've got is a special just for the derby, so I won't be bringing that one out until next season. But I'll be getting more flags, and I look forward to thinking of some designs to choose and getting that printed and bringing it to the ground next season. Anyway, that's enough for today. I've gone a little bit off topic with what's happened in the stands. Social media has been blowing up a little bit, but let's move on. We are Auckland FC supporters. We understand the needs and the rights for each and every one of us. If you want to watch more of the game, please sit in a better place. Let's not cause friction within the supporters group. We need to be one. We need to support the team, and we need to work in harmony. Gone off script there. This podcast is really about the football, and Auckland FC did get the draw. Hopefully we will get back to winning ways. We need to, because the playoffs are coming up, and we need to take good momentum going into the playoffs. And like a friend of mine said, it looks like we're sleepwalking our way into the playoffs, which is very, very dangerous. Potential of throwing away an amazing season. So let's get behind the players. Let's get back to winning ways. Let's be strong going into the playoffs and dominate those playoffs, because we're going to be at home. We should be at home, finishing in the top 2, finishing top. We really want to finish top going into the playoffs, but we want to do it off the back of victories, a run of victories. So next time round will be Brisbane away after the international break, so a week off, and let's hopefully we get back to winning ways against Brizzy and up the port.
Jenks FM 109.2.